Hello, good morning, and welcome to Morning Brew on Politics Social. My name is Graham Hughes. Nice to have you with us this morning. We've got Martin Harrow in the chat. We've got Liz Allen. We've got Sid and Saz. We have got Veg Pie in there as well. We've got Viper Scott. We've got C Dizzy Dizzle. We've got Downer Sheds. We've got Reverend Kathy in there. Cool. Welcome, one. Welcome. We've got DJ Marcy Moo. How you doing, DJ? If you'd like to join our friends in the chat, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button, wait for 1 minute, and you'll be able to join in with the conversation. If you want, you don't have to. No one's going to hold a gun to your head. It is Tuesday, the 24th of February, 2026, and it is today the 4-year anniversary of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine by Russia, in which over 1.5 million Russians have been killed or injured, and hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians the same. It has been an absolute shitfest from top to bottom, left to right, east to west, north to south, and the fact that it's still going on 4 years of this shows not just that Russia's fucking useless, because otherwise, it would have won. Not just that the Ukrainians are incredibly brave and stoic people, because if they weren't, then the Russians would have won. But also, it just shows how useless the international community is. We're supposed to come together. This is why we invented the fucking UN. This is why we invented NATO. This is why we invented all these different organizations around the world, the G8 and the European Convention on Human Rights and all this kind of stuff. We invented all this post-war settlement stuff, post-communist fucking settlement for the former countries of the USSR, and then Russia goes shits all over it, and everyone just stands there eating popcorn, looking at the shit. Fucking embarrassing, to be honest with you. And when I say, I think we should just bomb the front lines, just go along the front lines of Russia, just bomb the shit out of them. All the countries of Europe, they won't know who it was. Be like that last episode of Brookside where everyone had a bit of rope, so no one could say who the guy who actually who hung the bad guy, who it actually was, because everyone had a bit of rope, which is not a way to get away with the crime. I'll let you know that now. Even in Liverpool. Okay, so I was watching the Grand Tour's last episode yesterday. I know we aren't Jeremy Clarkson's fans in the slightest here, but I do love the dynamic between the three of them. Love James May and Richard Hammond. Thanks for that, One Angry Pagan. Hannah Manking Tube says, homemade lemon curd on toast with tea for me. Oh, you're making me hungry. And Mandy and Andy sitting in a cell, really hoping it doesn't end well. Yes, indeed. So that's going to be our main topic today. Obviously, we talked about Ukraine, the invasion of Ukraine on Sunday for the Sunday sermon. So today we're going to be talking about Lord Peter Mandelson, the Lord of Darkness, who has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Yesterday at about 5:15, the news broke. Lord Mandelson was arrested by officers from the Metropolitan Police's Central Specialist Crime Division. Please note that this isn't the same as the Thames Valley Police, who arrested Prince Andrew, former Prince Andrew. Thames Valley, I don't think the Thames Valley actually extends to Norfolk, but he was arrested on the Sandringham estate in Norfolk. He was held for about 12 hours and then he was let go. Meanwhile, Peter Mandelson, yesterday, he was taken to a police station for interview under caution. The arrest followed search warrants in 2 addresses in Camden and in Wiltshire. And like I say, suspicion of misconduct in public office. And the allegation is while he served as business secretary under Gordon Brown in 2008, 2010, he passed market-sensitive government information to the paedophile financier. That makes it sound like he finances paedophiles, but he probably did. Jeffrey Epstein. Government secrets to Jeffrey Epstein when at a critical time in human history, when the banks had screwed us all by giving out subprime mortgages to everyone and anyone, not caring that these investments were shite and that a lot of them were going to fail. And then the banks ended up in a bloody lot of old shacks in America. You know, they like their shacks in America, don't And tatty old shacks. They don't really build things to last in America. Just look at the White House. And yeah, we had the global banking crisis, or the credit crunch, or the credit crisis, whatever the fuck you want to call it, all caused by these demonic bankers who then we needed to rein in. We needed to make sure that they didn't do this again. So we brought in regulations. We bailed out some banks like Northern Rock. And then we also put caps on bankers' bonuses, and the bankers didn't like this. And what was Jeffrey Epstein? A banker, and all other things as well. Prolific paedophile, but he was a banker, and a foreign banker. And we had the business secretary of state in the government of Gordon Brown giving away these fucking secrets, national and international secrets, to Jeffrey Epstein. He was released in the early hours this morning, around 2 a.m., pending further investigation, which is a shame. I wanted him to spend the night in the cell. Never mind. And the police consultations with the Crown Prosecution Service are ongoing. So emails suggest that Mandelson discussed with Epstein proposed taxes on bankers' bonuses, the government's asset sales plans, approximately £20 billion. You know, we're not talking about passing notes in class saying, "Oh, Jeffrey fancies you," right? This is huge. This is massive. What this guy did, if he did it, which he probably did, but let's just say allegedly for now, it's in the Epstein files. They've got the emails. Now, you don't need to be Hercules Parrot or Miss Marbles to know that, or Sherbet Loams, to understand the fact that if you have an email that it has been sent to Jeffrey Epstein and is dated for that particular date, and that email contains a forwarded message from the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom that is confidential, and it's come out in these documents. I mean, it seems to me a bit of an open and shut case. I can't see how he can get out of this. What did he do? Say, "Oh, I accidentally sent it. I accidentally sent it to the wrong person. I meant to send it to my friend Jeffrey Epstein, who is a very important person in the world of government finance." I mean, come on. Jeffrey, because that J's next to H, isn't it? Jeffrey Epstein. Well, here we go. I mean, there's also the fact that he gave Epstein the heads up, by the looks of things, on economic policy shifts, indications, and gave indications of Gordon Brown's impending resignation. Gordon Brown is helping out with these investigations, and I can see why. Allegedly communicated to Epstein before public announcements. And there's no way around this, you know. Those emails are there in black and white. You can see them yourself. You can see the date. You can see that these things that he's passing on to Epstein, this guy who's he's not even a British crook. He's not even a British paedophile. He's a foreign paedophile. And he's getting all this information, this background information, before it's made public. We have the dates. We have the emails. So the trigger of this obviously was the Epstein files. It's this document release in January this year, a large tranche of emails and financial records, over 3 million of them, but nothing from 1999 to 2001. By the way, that whole section, you can chart it out on the graph. It goes and then it just drops and it goes up and it goes. It included correspondence between Mandelson and Jeffrey Epstein. Mandelson described Epstein as my best pal in past correspondence. In 2008, he sent an email suggesting he would fight for an early release of Epstein, who had been put in jail for pedophilia. Continued contact with Epstein, allegedly, until at least 2016. There were financial transfers, thousands of pounds from Epstein to Mandelson and his husband in 2009, after Mandelson had let him know about all of this stuff that was happening in the government. Bit of quid pro quo, one might say. And then we've got emails discussing the policy implications during the UK financial crisis. Sorry, I meant the European financial crisis. Sorry, I meant the global financial crisis. And this matters legally. Passing confidential or market-sensitive government information to a private individual could undermine financial markets. It could provide insider advantage, do you think? It definitely breaches ministerial code, but this goes beyond the ministerial code. This constitutes criminal misconduct, criminal wrongdoing on a huge level, like on just a crazy high level. And then we've got the fact that you've got a public officer acting in official capacity, right? Willfully negligent or causing misconduct or indulging in misconduct, abusing serious enough, abuse serious enough to constitute criminality, and it must be deliberate, not just careless. This is the legal threshold for this charge of misconduct in public office. And I think that all those four things, Mandelson ticks all four. Absolutely. Was he a public officer? Yes, he was the Secretary for Trade. Was this willful misconduct? Yes, it was. He knew what he was doing was wrong. This wasn't a mistake. Is the abuse serious enough to amount to criminality? Yes. We're talking about discussing matters of the government spending £20 billion. That's 20,000 million pounds. And he's just letting his mate know. And then his mate gives him loads of money. Come on. Allegedly. We've got the timeline of this downfall. He was appointed the UK ambassador to the United States by Keir Starmer, which I said at the time was a bad idea, and it turned out that it was a bad idea. It wasn't until September last year that the first emails were released. So he was announced as UK ambassador in December after it was known that Trump won the 2024 election. And then in September, we had the public backlash from this first Epstein email batch. And Starmer, being an idiot, because he is an idiot, he defended him at first, I don't think people remember this. He defended him at first. And then he was sacked within 24 hours. He has my complete confidence. I don't know if he actually said that about him, but just don't just be decisive. Be decisive, for God's sake. That's all I ask. People liked Boris Johnson, even though he was decisive in the wrong direction. He was very decisive in his indecisiveness, which is a weird paradox that is Boris Johnson. And then we got November, December. In last year, we had more emails showing deeper, longer contact than Mandelson had previously admitted to. And then this massive drop a few weeks ago, these 3 million documents. It showed financial transfers. It showed policy-related emails surface. On the 1st of February this year, Mandelson resigned from the Labour Party membership. He resigned his Labour Party membership on the 8th. Morgan McSweeney resigned as Starmer's chief of staff. Hurrah! Bit of a win there. And then we had the mid-February arrest of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor on similar misconduct suspicion over contacts with the same crooked, paedophilic financier. And last night Mandelson was arrested. And the speed of collapse is kind of crazy. From 6 months to this ambassadorial prestige, probably the most lauded ambassadorial position in this country, being the ambassador to the US. And he's gone from that to criminal arrest. That's a pretty fast descent in modern British political history. And then we look at the why this happens. The legal catalyst is there. The US document release created a very clear evidential trail. The digital correspondence creates time-stamped proof. You can't get out of it. You cannot get out of that. Financial transfers have been established via a paper trail, and that'll be able to be followed up Every time people transfer money, it's why all the crooks and pedos love crypto so much, because you can't follow it up. Law enforcement can't follow it up. But if they can look at the banks, look at the accounts that this was paid into, it will still be there, logged with the banks. They don't burn everything after a few years. Those records will still be there of this money transferred from Epstein to Mandelson, to Mandelson's husband. And the political sensitivity of the financial crisis era, that just heightens the seriousness of all this. I mean, it would be serious anyway. But imagine if it was the current Secretary of State to Trade, and it was discovered that he let a company in India know that we were not going to help out with blast furnaces anymore. We're not going to support blast furnaces in the UK because they're too expensive, or we can't run them at a profit. And he let them know the day before, and that Indian business person had made some money on the markets, shorting British steel or Tata steel, whatever, right? Okay. That would have been bad, right? That would have been pretty fucking bad. And that's the sort of thing that would land a government minister doing that in jail. This is 100 times worse than that. This is 100 times worse than that. Because not only did it allow for insider trading, it allowed Jeffrey Epstein, who had contacts with hundreds, maybe thousands of financiers and economists and people working for these big companies like JP Morgan. It allowed him to send the message out and let them know what the British government were thinking before the British government announced it. During a fucking financial crisis, which was created by the fucking financial fucking institutions that this twat was leaking information to via a convicted paedophile. I mean, fuck. This doesn't get much more serious than this when you talk about political ramifications and criminality. This motherfucker, he should go down. He should go down for the rest of his life, spend the rest of his life in a fucking jail cell, staring at the wall and thinking about what he's fucking done. I'm fed up of the rich and the powerful getting away with literal fucking murder. And you know what? Passing on this information would have given Epstein even more information, even more money, because he could have sold this information, this inside information, for money. And that would have put more women and girls at risk because he had more money to do the horrible things that he wanted to do to them. More sex trafficking, more child rape. As a result of Mandelson letting him know this, which Mandelson did for money back. You know, evil begets evil. That's it. You know, the more you pay evil, the more power you give to evil, the more evil is fucking done. Just look at Donald fucking Trump. And the public anger over these Epstein links remains intense. The UK authorities are under pressure not to appear softer than the US. I mean, the US, fucking hell. What a soft country. What a weak little namby-pamby country America is. What a weak little podgy, nanny-calling, apron-tugging fucking country America is. Nanny, can I have a biscuit, Nanny? That's what they are. It's so pathetic. And then Nanny says, no, you've already had two, Donny. And Donny bursts into tears, throws a tantrum, and half of America get an erection. I mean, fucking hell. That's fucked up, isn't it? America right now. Wow. It's like these fucking knobheads who are like, yeah, Donny. I'm like, yeah, Donny, I love you. I love everything you do. And you're like, yeah, he's behaving like a toddler. Yeah, but it annoys people like you, doesn't it, Graham? Well, I don't know if the word annoy is the right word. I think I just feel I feel like secondhand embarrassment for you, you know, for America right now, for just being the psyche of one man, this petulant toddler of a man who's clearly got fucking dementia. It's spread across the body politic of America. It's quite phenomenal. Also quite grim. Also quite grim. Mandelson was personally close to Starmer's inner circle, and he was politically influential behind the scenes. He was obviously very close to Morgan McSweeney, and he was also very close to Wes Streeting, who we don't like on this channel. So, you know, every cloud. But yeah, to go back to sticking one to the Americans, the fact that the king had his brother arrested over this is just mind blowing. It just for the Americans who care about things like truth, justice, liberty in the American way. I know there's not many of them left, but fucking hell, they must have their minds blown at the moment. The King of England has his brother arrested. Okay. And what does America do? Nothing more to see here. Donald Trump's running around saying these files completely exonerate me, even though my name appears in it over 1 million times. Yeah. Wow. And the victims' families, and the survivors of Epstein have praised the UK action, and as well as criticised the US inaction. But yeah, there's allegations that Mandelson lied during the vetting process to become an ambassador. And you know what? Like, Mandelson is so dangerous because he just represents everything that we secretly think about politicians, doesn't he? They're all on the make. They're all chumming up to paedophiles and oil oligarchs and tobacco barons and drug dealers and all these motherfuckers who run the world. And he gives ammunition, so much ammunition to the other side to say their most beloved line, all politicians are the same. All politicians are the same. Which I don't believe. I don't believe at all, but a lot of people do because it's an easy schema to create in your head to just as a shortcut. It's a politician, must be corrupt. He's a lawyer, must be greedy. He's a doctor, must be patronising. He's a doctor, must be a he. Sorry about that. They must be patronising. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like a shortcut that people use. And it's incredibly frustrating when you have people comparing Donald Trump stealing secret documents from the White House and then selling them to whoever the fuck he sold them to, which led to the deaths of 150 US secret agents. Fucking hell. Comparing that to the fact that Biden had a few documents in his shed he didn't realise, and when he did, he said, yeah, take them away, I don't mind. Donald Trump tried to keep his stuff. And they went, oh, it's exactly the same. They tried to make out that Hillary Clinton using a private email server, something that was done by Colin Powell, her predecessor. And don't forget, email was still pretty fucking new then. A decade earlier, no one had fucking email. And then everyone had email. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was still a pretty new fucking thing. And that was the same. That was exactly the same as Donald Trump literally raping 30 women and saying, oh, you should grab women by their genitals because if you're rich and you're powerful, you can do that kind of thing. It's exactly the same if you think about it, but of emails. And then we had the false equivalence of Partygate when we couldn't go to our friends and our relatives' funerals, when we couldn't be with our loved ones as they were dying during lockdown. Boris Johnson was having a party every other night in fucking Downing Street. A fucking party with people having sex in the cupboards, breaking swings, throwing up all over the fucking carpet, baggies of cocaine everywhere, squirting fucking jizz and fucking wine up the fucking walls. And people go, yeah, but that's the same as Keir Starmer because he had a beer. And all that Mandelson's done here has fucking just given ammunition to that. Yeah, you think that what that Tory did was bad? The fact that the Prime Minister's wife, when he was Chancellor, was claiming to be a non-dom in the UK, one of the richest people in the country, was claiming not to live here when she actually lived at number 11 Downing Street. Number 11 Downing Street, the second most famous fucking address in the fucking country. And oh no, I'll only have to pay £29,000 a year on my half billion pound fucking fortune. But yeah, this there is the allegations that this creep Mandelson, who's always been a creep, he was sacked twice in Labour governments for lying, for cheating, for scamming. He's just a fucking gobshite. He's always been a gobshite. He'll always be a gobshite. But the government want to release the papers, these documents showing that Starmer was misled. The arrest actually complicates that because it means that due to ongoing police interest, they won't be able to release that information in case it upsets any future potential trial. And like I said, 2 cabinet resignations already under his belt for Mandelson under Tony Blair. And, that was his nickname, the Prince of Darkness, something that he cultivated himself, by the way. That wasn't just a pejorative that someone else made to slag him off. And you've got a public perception of this motherfucker shaped by decades of scandal familiarity. People familiar with someone familiar with scandal. And he's denying criminal wrongdoing. He's claiming he didn't know the full extent of Epstein's crimes. He did an interview with Laura Kunzberg. He claimed he was not financially motivated. He claimed that he had nothing to do with all the paedophile stuff because he's gay. Okay, that's an interesting defense, isn't it? I wonder if any priests have ever tried using that one. Apparently, he regrets the association with Epstein. I don't care how much you regret. You broke the fucking law by the looks of things, allegedly. Go to fucking jail. He's previously apologised to Epstein's victims. He's argued that his relationship has been exaggerated by the media. His allies say that meetings were limited in number, but fuck off. Seriously. Come on, do you think I'm fucking as daft as you look, Peter Mandelson? Because we're not, it's been exaggerated by the media. We've got it in black and white. During a financial crisis, you gave critical, top secret government information to your financier pal over in America, who was working for JP fucking Morgan, had very close ties with JP Morgan, who would quite like to know what the British were planning to do about the fucking the credit crunch that them and their mates in fucking Wall Street have fucking caused in the fucking first place. Saz, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. It's very kind of you. And also Viper Scott, awesome. Just to get Dizz's confetti fix started. Thank you. Let's get the party started. What's happened to happen next? So we've got the short term. We've got continued bail conditions for Mandelson, police forensic analysis of emails and financial records, a CPS review of evidential threshold, and also possible further interviews under caution. The CPS must determine whether sufficient evidence exists, whether prosecution is in the public interest. And the thing is, with misconduct in public office cases, they are complex and difficult to prosecute, famously, historically. But there is a high evidential bar for proving willful criminal abuse. But I mean, both with Andy and with Mandy, I'm looking at it now going, just on the basis of what we know, what's in the public domain at the moment, I think it's going to be hard to find a non-biased jury, to be honest with you, because it looks like an open and shut case to me. So you gave this information, this top secret information. We've got an email here of you sending it to this bad guy. Yeah, I sent it to that bad guy. And then what happened next? He gave me £60,000. Do you know what's fucking annoying about all this? How cheap these motherfuckers are. These corrupt little twats running around the world, running around this country at the moment, just saying, oh yeah, I'll do that for 10 grand. I'll do this for 10. I didn't do a sting on Matt Hancock saying, oh, I'll big up your company for 10 grand. I mean, it's so fucking cheap. Meanwhile, Trump is demanding like $500 million in planes. If charged, Mandelson will appear at a magistrate court. There'll be a potential Crown Court trial, which would be again, seismic. I mean, this is significant political shockwaves here. And if he's not charged, well, the political damage is there. It's already there, whether he's charged or not. For Mandelson, his reputation is irreversibly shattered now. I mean, if he had any reputation. And but the big thing for us as a country going forward is the reputational damage this has caused to Starmer and to Labour. The questions over the vetting process, the intelligence and security committee involvement has been debated. The Conservative narrative are saying that this is the defining moment of Starmer's premiership. It's a portrayal of his weak leadership. And I don't know if they're wrong. I don't agree with the fucking Tories, but this was a terrible, 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 terrible decision. It really fucking was. And I'm sure there's some of you watching this going, oh, fuck off, Graham. How hindsight is always 2020. We always knew that Mandelson was a fucking twat. We always knew that he had the potential for being a twat. And here he is. He's probably brought down the Starmer-led government. Not that we're going to have an election anytime soon, but we might get a new leader who will reshuffle the cabinet about. And there is internal Labour unease about these old New Labour figures returning to influence because they are tainted by the stink of Iraq. That goes for Alistair Campbell and for Tony Blair. Just fuck off. And there's a broader theme here about the sort of the legacy political class being persona non grata. And it is a bit weird, isn't it, that we live in a country where these people who ran the country from 1997 to 2010 under the Labour government a lot of them are seen as absolute pariahs now. Whereas Nigel Farage, who led us into the was the absolute catalyst of the 2016 EU fraudulendum, in which everybody cheated. Vote Leave broke the law. Leave.eu broke the law. They broke the fucking law, and they got away with it. Because they said, "Oh well, no, it's not a legally binding. It's not a legally binding referendum. If it was a legally binding referendum, it would have to be rerun." And everyone would have to maintain, keep to the fucking letter of the fucking law. You're an infected now. Thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Criminally, Hancock is like Mr. Bean, whereas Trump is Dr. Evil, both inept, one with delusions of grandeur and the other one with delusions of adequacy. I think they've both got delusions of grandeur and adequacy as both. I think they both have those two things. Yuri, thank you very much. And Francis Winrow, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Hello all. Hello, Francis. Nice to have you with us this morning. But yeah, this is also, the revolving door, highlighting the revolving door between politics and lobbyists. We have to stop this. We have to stop foreign interference in our country. And when we've got one of the upstart political parties at the moment quite clearly being funded at like every level by the rich, oiled elites of foreign countries, they sell their toxic slime around the highly volatile, explosive slime that they sell. These elite networks around the world. We've got to stop them fucking controlling our country. And when you've got Nigel Farage and his outfit being basically obviously paid by crypto bastards and twats coming over from the Middle East, paying these dumb daft shites around here, No, we're going to vote for Nigel Farage so we don't get Sharia law and we don't have to eat halal food. And where does Richard Tice live? Dubai. What do they have in Dubai? Sharia law and halal food. Oh. Cool. He's obviously totally chill with waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning when they have the call to prayer. He's chill with that, He wants that. That's the future they want for Britain, which is an odd thing to vote for. Steady Diz, sit down if you need to. Ooh, I think that has triggered. I hope. Has it triggered? Has it got what? It's still on 4 out of 5 here. Hang on. What? Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much to Martin Harrow there for the super chat. Sorry that it didn't trigger the confetti. Oh, there we go. Viper Scott, confetti time. It's still on 4 out of 5 on my screen here. Come on. Do it. Yay. Okay, I'm just going to press the button. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, confetti! I have no idea why the confetti cannon hasn't gone off in the chat. It's still saying 4 out of 5. When we have had 5 out of 5. We've had 6 out of 5, actually. There you go. I don't know. Hey! 5 super chats. No, still not gone off. Anyway, this is happy. I'm happy. Yeah. So just to go back to this sort of the long shadow of this, the broader context, but spread it out around the world. The Epstein investigations they continue to destabilize global political figures, and the UK is now seen as taking more visible action than the US, massively, massively. And the arrest of two very famous establishment figures within weeks shows that there is a public appetite for accountability, which is fantastic. Also, what's fantastic is that David Smith has just dropped a £5 super chat in the super chat fund. Yay, thank you. Starmer visited South Manchester last night. I think this is so he doesn't look like he's hiding after the arrest, or do they have very positive polling? Thanks very much, David. Let's talk about that for a moment. I'm just going to wrap up talking about Mandelson, but yeah, let's come back to that because I think there's something worth discussing there. But yeah, the core questions going forward with this with this case is, was market sensitive information deliberately passed? It looks like it was from what we've seen from the Epstein files. That's in the public domain. Was there personal gain or favor seeking? We know that money was given from Epstein to Mandelson and his husband. Did Mandelson mislead during his ambassadorial vetting? Well, we don't know because we weren't there, but will their emails emerge? I don't know. And none of the American administration can help it because they took out all the ones that mentioned Trump and just published the 30,000 mentions of Trump that they thought they could get away with. But there you go, just bear in mind that the criminal process moves slower than the political fallout. Talking of political fallout, let's get back to what David Smith has said here. Starmer versus South Manchester. Listen, so when it comes to Starmer visiting South Manchester, Gordon and Denton, which we have a very important by-election this week. I mean, I say very important. It's very important for Starmer. It's not very important for the Labour Party or the government because they've got a 150-seat majority. They don't give a fuck. Like, they lose one seat, it doesn't really matter. But it does matter to the rest of us that if we fuck get in, that's very, very bad. And one of the criticisms levelled against Starmer when they lost in Runcorn and Hellsbeat last year to Sarah Poo-Chin, poo on a chin, chinny poo woman, privately educated, of course. She won it by 6 votes, and it was said that they should have brought out the big guns. They should have, Starmer should have gone up there, taken it seriously, gone there for the by-election, but he didn't, and none of the big figures went up there. And even if it wasn't Starmer, I mean, Angela Rayner was still Deputy Prime Minister at the time. It would have been good for her to go up there as a Northerner. Runcorn's not far from Manchester, and connected with voters, but they didn't, and they felt like, oh no, we're going to win. So, can we see this, David, as an act of desperation? Maybe, but also I think that he needs to do this. He needs to show up. He needs to try and get people out to vote for Labour in Gorton and Denton, or they're in a lot of trouble. He's in a lot of trouble. He's personally in a lot of trouble if they don't win this. Happy enough 420 has joined Lone Star. Oh, welcome. You are very welcome here on this channel, being a member. Welcome, you are awesome. There you go. Hey, you're awesome. Thank you very much for happy enough for joining the channel. If anyone else would like to join the channel, all you need to do is hit the join button under the video. And you get a snazzy little rose after your name. So Viper Scott's got a little rose there after Viper Scott's name. In fact, Viper Scott's got it's a shield and a rose. And then you've got who else have you got? Is a shield now the new spanner? Because it was a spanner, now it's a shield. Is that right? They changed the spanner to a shield. Maybe people didn't like being called spanners. And also it allows you to use these little emojis here. There's a little Graham emoji there. If you press colon, Graham, colon, you get a little Graham emoji. That's kind of cool. You can only do that if you remember. Also, you get your name at the end of the episode, which I need to update, actually. I think we need to know what Boris got up to. Oh, yeah, Alvone, definitely. But I don't think Boris Johnson was connected to Epstein. I don't know if he gets mentioned in the files at all. Starmer will do more damage by going. He's so unpopular. The Green vote is a strategic vote, according to Movement Forward. Labour would do well to sit it out. I've got to say black dot dot because we don't know what the outcome of this is going to be. And the polling isn't great. The only real good polling data that we have, reliable 100% polling data, because don't forget, you're not talking about the country as a whole, you're talking about an individual constituency. The best polling data, the best indicator of who might win this is the last election, in which Andrew Gwynn won it by over 50% of the vote. And I don't know. I've had a few disagreements behind the scenes, but I don't think that tactical vote sites should be telling people to vote for anyone. And I'm really dubious about the Greens saying that they're the only option there. They're the only ones who can beat Refuck. And I don't want to upset anyone watching this. The Greens will obviously want to win. So yeah, okay, fair enough. It's all politics. But when it comes to the tactical voting site, if they aim for the king and miss, this could really seriously damage the reputation of those tactical voting sites. If they say vote for the Greens and the Greens come third and Refuck win, it's not going to look good on them. I would have put vote with your heart. That's what I would have. I don't want a tactical voting site. So just saying. And do you know what? In the greater scheme of things, I don't think it'll matter in 3 years' time when we have an actual fucking general election. But at the moment, I would have just said, look, it's too close to call. We don't have enough information. I wouldn't necessarily take a punt. Because, look, even if they're right, even if it does turn out to be right, one of the things that tactical voting sites need to be is, or at least appear to be, is independent and not driven by ideology. And I think that some of these tactical voting sites really, 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 really hate Keir Starmer and hate Labour, like proper fucking hate them, because Labour haven't lived up to their expectations. And it's kind of like that idea of, well, we helped you get elected in the first place because there was a lot of tactical voting that went on in the 2024 election. And now you're not doing any of the things that we want you to do. And it's like, okay, yeah, I can see why you're upset, but did you really expect them to? I mean, I'm not being funny, but this is what governments do. They put out a manifesto and then they try and put it to the testo, you know, try and get what they want to get done. Not necessarily what each of us wants them to do. But this is the difficulty of being in government. You always got to be pissing off the fucking population off, aren't you? Do you means test pensions? Oh, I got means test pensions. I worked all my life for that pension. So, well, you know, if you're earning $1 million, if you know you're a multi-millionaire, I don't think you need it. Just don't think you need it. Labour lost 10% between 2019 and 2024 too. The trajectory could lead to Labour being as low as 25 to 30%. Greens jumping from 13 to 30% is believable. Yeah, Bolskov, I don't doubt that, but like 10% between 2019 and 2024, but then what, they lose another 10%, they're still going to be on 40 and they'll win. There's a lot of people who aren't paying attention to politics as well. There's a low turnout for by-elections at the best of times. They're very, very difficult to predict, and it's very close. I mean, that's something that even the tactical voting sites and everyone who's involved, everyone down on the ground there in Denton and Gorton are admitting it is very, very fucking close. It could end up with 30% of the vote to Refuck, 30% of the vote to Labour, 30% of the vote to the Greens. There could just be a few votes in it. But I'll tell you this now, if it does go to Refuck, there is going to be, I don't think it's going to make obviously it's going to be shit for Labour, but I think it's also going to be shit for the Greens because it makes them look like spoilers. Again, if I know Phil didn't agree with me on this point, but I mean, I do believe that if the Greens were that confident that they were going to win there, they would have put Zach Polanski forward because then he gets to be an MP. That just says they are unserious people who follow the man, not the party and the idea. Who follow what man? Back to Dot. Thanks, Gray. I do hear you. I do think Labour have been unpopular. They pissed away that 50-point lead, but vote with your heart sounds good. Yeah. I mean, I guess this is probably coming from an overabundance of caution from me because tactical voting is going to be so important in the next election. in the general election, and I feel like because we need to keep Refuck out, we need to keep Nigel Farage out because this is an existential threat to our country. You see what Trump has done to America. He will do the same thing. He will, bulldoze number 9 Downing Street and turn it into a fucking strip joint for cocaine and hookers for the elite, the privately educated millionaire, multimillionaire, billionaire elite. Turn it into a fucking casino. That's what he'll do. And Captain Coconuts, just take your daily dose of copium. Labour are third at best. They might be. Look, I'm not saying that Labour are going to fucking walk this by any stretch of the imagination, Captain Coconut. I'm talking about I'm more talking about the effect on the Greens if they don't win this, and the effect on. I mean, Labour are fucked either way. I think under Starmer, they do need a new leader. We've talked about that ad nauseum, but yeah, and the tactical vote sites I'm talking about. I don't know. I just wouldn't give the advice. Is it possible that the Caerphilly effect might come into force? Yeah, it could be. That's where Refuck were ousted by Plaid Cymru. But I think that in Wales, Plaid Cymru, and in Scotland, the SNP, I do think that there is a groundswell of popular opinion that goes towards them. I mean, I think that even in the Scottish elections, I think if the Scottish elections had been held maybe 2 years ago, the SNP would have had the floor would have been wiped with them. Because don't forget, that was around the time that Nicola Sturgeon's husband was being arrested by the police, and there was all these questions being asked about Winnebagos, caravans, and motorhomes and shit. And I think that they would have done really badly, but Labour have made such an arse of themselves. I think in May, because we've got the local elections, summit local elections in May across England, but then you've got the elections for the Welsh Senate and the Scottish Parliament in May. I think Labour are just going to get absolutely demolished. I think the SNP are probably going to do really well, and also in Wales, I think Plaid Cymru are going to do really well. But I don't know, and I might be wrong, I don't know if the Greens have the positive support that they need. Because don't forget, not every vote for the SNP or for Plaid are protest votes necessarily. I know some of them are. I know some of them are. But like, there is something positive that they are saying that Scotland's politics should be run by Scottish people. The SNP and Cymru, Plaid Cymru, they want independence for their respective countries, or at the very least more devolution, more powers to be given to the Senate and to the Scottish Parliament. And I think that that's really important. I think that's a really important factor. Whereas the Greens, I mean, they are. I think that Zach Polanski's done a fantastic job of getting people motivated to vote for the Greens and to think of them as something more than a protest vote. But I don't know if he's done enough at this point. I'm sure by the time the next election swings around in 2028 or 2029, I'm pretty sure that things will have changed even more. But at the moment, I don't know. And this is going to be a big barometer, a big test to see, which way the political winds are blowing. But it is very, very close. So I just don't think they should be, that the tactical vote site, Best for Britain or Movement Forward or whatever, should be calling it one way or another at this point. And also, you've got the risk of looking like you're working for the Greens rather than working for the betterment of the country. Nick Diff, the racists don't care. No, they do not. I mean, it's just mad that, basically, Refuck are the English National Party, and you've got people in Wales who are thinking of voting for them. Kind of crazy. Right, we're going to go over to the papers in a moment, but before we do, I'm going to have to close the curtain, because I opened the curtain thinking it was a bit overcast today, but now the sun is streaming through there, and it makes it look like I'm in some heavenly dream. So I'm just gonna put up the intro. So don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just gonna close the curtains and come back. I'll be back in one moment. Hello, I'm back. There we go. I'm back from outer space. Graham, remember the Scots Greens are an indie party. Thanks very much to Viper Scott for that. Oh yeah, they want independence as well, don't they? Are the Scots Greens anywhere though? Are they? Because it's the Green Party of England and Wales, isn't it? I don't know. I don't think they're going to do very well in Wales. I think that if anyone wants to stick one to Labour, they're probably more likely to vote for Plaid or for Refuck, unfortunately. But there you go. He left us, says one angry pagan. Don't worry, I'm back. Don't worry. We are lucky in Wales. Plaid Cymru are a good party here on the whole. England needs an equivalent. I don't think the Greens are it. Sadly, definitely not Reform. I think that there is an issue with the fact that the Greens and Refuck in particular, I think, but you know, the Greens lack the kind of experience that of governing, which isn't necessarily means that they can't win and they can't, you know, do quite well, but the idea that the Greens can win a majority in the next general election is for the birds. It's never going to happen. I mean, it's like thinking that the Lib Dems are going to win a majority in the next elections. It's not going to happen. Labour might have to go in with them. Labour might have to go in with the Lib Dems and the Greens in order to achieve a majority in Parliament. Yeah, in the same way that I feel fairly confident in saying that I don't think that that Refuck really have the power to win an outright majority in Parliament. I just can't see it happening. Too many people genuinely hate Nigel Farage, and that party is nothing without Nigel Farage. But yeah, the Greens in local governments have been a bit of a curate's egg, you know, good in parts, but it is very telling that I was shocked when I went down to Brighton and found out that Mike Dix doesn't have recycling. Like, we've had recyclable wheelie bins in Liverpool since fucking, I don't know, the 90s, I think we've been recycling in Liverpool. And I go to Brighton, which is a green stronghold, and there's no recycling. And apparently they've got it now because the council has gone Labour. That's mind-blowing. And there's another mark against the Greens, which is that they are currently complaining about the installation of pylons across the UK. They also complained about HS2. And although, like, we can talk about HS2 and the disaster under the Tories that it was, because the Tories are fucking idiots and they can't build anything, they can only destroy stuff. But the fact that we were getting a high-speed rail line and they were like, no, we don't want this. And they've behaved like NIMBYs in some situations, like high power electricity lines and pylons. I know they were fucking ugly on the environment, on the hillsides. I never liked them. When I was a kid, I remember going to North Wales and seeing these power lines going across the mountains, and it's like, oh, fucking hell, they're hideous. But we're in a climate emergency. But they're going, oh, we need to bury them. We need to bury them. Fuck off, we need to bury them. That is way more expensive, like 10 times more expensive to fucking bury them. And also 100 times more fucking dangerous. If someone's digging in the back garden and, you know, you put the spade down, you hit a fucking 48,000 fucking volt line. Brilliant. Well done. There you go. I'm not sure you could have a specifically English party. It would have to be something like the Teals. Was that Canada or Australia? I don't know. We have 4 bins in Liverpool. There are 4 bins! But yeah. I used to live on Moss Lane in Oval Park in Liverpool. And what's funny about Moss Lane is if you kept walking like far enough, you actually crossed the city boundary from what was administrated by the city council to Sefton, which is to the north of Liverpool, which was a different council. And so our half of the street nearer the train station and the Old Park Ballroom and the little bridge, we at our end, we all had wheelie bins. We had purple wheelie bins. Famous story about the council meeting where they decided what the colour of the wheelie bins was going to be. Originally, it was going to be blue, and then the Liverpool fans in the council complained and said no, they should be red. And they went, okay, let's have a compromise. Let's make them purple because that's a mixture of blue and red. True story. But yeah, we'd have and then you get down the end of the street, right, up to going north, and it was bin bags. On bin collection day, it was bin bags. Not only that, if you go down Moss Lane at the time, there was the new tarmac stopped. It stopped. It was like one road, right? I think it changed. I think it became Heathfield Road or something if I ever got further down. But it literally Moss Lane, and it stopped. The new tarmac stopped, and it was like old tarmac because that was someone else's problem. It was just, and everyone had like black bin bags out on the streets and rats running around and eating into the fucking bin bags and stuff for bin collection day. Oh, absolutely fucking mind-blowing. But there you go. We have 6 bins in Wales. There are 6 bins. That doesn't work. General, green, food, plastics, cardboard, and glass, plus nappy waste if requested. Then we take soft plastics off to the supermarket. Yeah, here in Durham we have normal. We have normal recycling. We have the grass, whatever, green collection, green waste, garden waste, and we also have glass, which is separate. Oh, but those cable stroke turbines ruin the view for the tourists, mate. No tourist is going to gaze at the view with climate change. That means that the land is boggy and is constantly pissing with rain. Yeah. Am I the only one who doesn't mind pylons? I think they look impressive and dramatic, says Gallifreyan Man. I like wind turbines. I've got to say, I like wind turbines. I think they look cool. I just, a bit out of place on top of otherwise desolate hillside, but or a hillside desolate. I just But who cares? Who cares about aesthetics when the world is fucking burning? It's like people going past fields of solar panels and going, there's a field full of solar panels. It's disgraceful. It makes me so sad. The thing is, with a field full of solar panels, you don't fucking see it. If you're in a car, there's fucking hedgerows around it, so you don't see it. The only time you ever see any fields of solar panels is when you're up on an embankment on a train journey, looking out the window, bored, and you're like, oh, don't like that. Wind turbines are indeed cool, but I guess maybe I just see the engineering that went into them and not the hulking industrial monstrosities. Hey, paint them like Spitfires. That's what I say. Okay, over to the papers now. Briefly. Won't hang around too long here, I think. We've got 6 ways to avoid injury at the gym. I've got 1 way to avoid injury at the gym. Don't go to the gym. Okay, so it's like my top tip for avoiding getting eaten by a shark, right? Don't go in the water. Perfect. Mandelson arrested over secrets passed to Epstein. Former ambassador to US led away from London home on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Labour to end middle-class domination of top schools. Ministers will overhaul admissions so high-achieving state schools are not dominated by children from middle-class families who can afford inflated house prices. Reforms by Bridget Phillipson, who we don't like because she's a bit turfy. The Education Secretary will make it easier for poorer children and those with special needs to get a place at popular state schools in England. The school's white paper, published yesterday, also revealed that the cost of supporting special needs pupils would keep rising until the end of the decade, despite the changes it outlined. I do feel like I was very lucky going to the Bluecoat School in Liverpool in the 90s when the catchment area for Bluecoat literally it went from not just the Liverpool boundaries, not just Oval Park in the north, not just Bootle, but it also went all the way up to Crosby. I had a friend who lived on College Road near Merchant Taylor's in Crosby. who went to my school. And then down in the south of the city, we have people coming up from Hale Wood, people coming up from Speke to come to the school. We have people who lived in St. Helens, or kids who lived in St. Helens, who would come in on the bus on the number 10. I suppose they had to change in Old Swan. But yeah, the catchment area was fucking huge. So it didn't matter which part of the city you lived in. You could apply for your kid to go to that school. Back then, you didn't have an exam for it. You just had an interview. And if you could spell scissors, which I couldn't, they generally let you in. I don't know why they let me in. I couldn't spell scissors. Brutal is a great word. It is good. It's not as good as dingle, though. There's another part of Liverpool called dingle, which is great. And Fazakerley is good as well, especially when said in a proper Scouse accent. Where you going? I'm going to Fazakerley. With the in there. Fazakerley. Fucking brilliant. Not a great place, Ren. What? What, Martin? My mum's from Bootle. You take that back. Scissors. Thank you very much. So not happy enough for spelling scissors correctly. I'll go back in time and give my 11-year-old self a slap. With mandated solar power nodes on every new house, there will be no need for any new power plants. Yes, happy enough. That's what we should have. So that's it. They had that in France a while ago, where they said you have to, on every roof of every new build, have to have solar panels over a garden. As you're saying that, it's bright and sunny outside down here in the South Devon. It got sunny here for some reason. As a non-car driver, I'm limited in what I can recycle, as we don't have town recycling points anymore, and I can't walk to the local recycling centre. Thanks for letting us know that, Richard, but I think that's ridiculous. I think that's absolutely ridiculous, mate. That is, in this day and age. Reagan Leach live at 11 a.m. Here's the link to it. Thanks very much, Viper Scott, for supplying us with the link. Our eldest went to the gym last night. This morning, the house smelled of Tiger Balm, and he was hunting for painkillers. Sorry about that. Okay, so we've got over on the Daily Fail here, we've got the crime desk. For some reason, we've got some criminals there. And then we've got launching the Daily Mail's brilliant new crime desk, chilling the day I had tea with Soham killer Ian Huntley and Maxine Carr. Okay. And then we've got now Mandelson faces the music. A grim-looking Lord Mandelson is led away from his £7.6 million London home by detectives after his arrest yesterday afternoon. Peter Mandelson was in a police cell last night after being arrested. Days after Andu, ashen-faced architect of New Labour is led away by police too. Disgraced Lord held there. Mandelson is arrested. Cops swoop. The cops swoop in. The cops swoop amid allegations that he shared government secrets with his friend Epstein. And that picture of a very shell-shocked looking former prince after the police quiz. We've got Jessie Buckley there, the new queen of red carpet cool there, doing a little trademark smirk. And then we've got aliens do exist, but they don't look like this. And a picture of E.T. Yeah, what do you think? Mandelson arrested. Labour grandee marched from his home over Epstein scandal in defining moment of Starmer's premiership. Is it the defining moment? Is it? I don't know. But if you want to listen to what Charles Moore, privately educated, of course, has to say about it, then please do. They've got some more bullshit in the bullshit paper here, the Daily Telegraph, the Toolagraph for tools. We've got Nottingham killer free because he was black. Really don't think that was the reason why. We've got Russia losing more troops than it can recruit, which is true. We've got judges given millions to clear court backlog. David Lammy is to pay judges to hear a record number of cases in an effort to cut court backlogs, which is fantastic news because it needs to be done. BBC failed to edit out N-word from BAFTAs. This is a story that there was a member of the audience who I think the movie I Swear was based on, who suffers from Tourette's, and he shouted out a ethnic slur. The BBC didn't edit it out. Now, I think that the BBC should have edited it out because it's an offensive word, even though the man who said it didn't mean to say it because he's got a psychological, he's got a health disorder, which creates tics that make you say things involuntarily. Because the reason why I say I think it should have been edited out, because the BBC did edit it, the show, the BAFTAs, when someone made a comment about was it about Palestine? Was it about Gaza? I don't know. I didn't see it because it was edited out. But they were worried about, they didn't show it live because they were worried about one of the actors or the composers or the directors or producers standing up and making a political statement, which wouldn't go down well with the fucking Trump White House or something. So they did actually edit stuff out of there, but they didn't edit that out of it. And I feel like they should have done. Yeah, they've actually said, they said sorry for failing to edit it out. I really think they should have done in this case. Prince William said he's not in a calm state. I thought a surprise 21 gun salute might settle his nerves, says this very funny haha cartoon from Matt, who's a right-wing twat. Apparently there were some fire engines turned up at Sandringham estate yesterday. So I don't know if he was. I like to think that after being arrested, he came home to find his place absolutely trashed, right, by the police. They'd just gone through everything, just thrown everything everywhere, right, papers all over the floor, and just spaghetti everywhere, up the walls, spaghetti on the walls, and just porridge flung onto the ceiling. What the kind of thing the police do when they come and trash your place and looking for ties of you and a prolific paedophile. And yeah, he came back and everyone fucked off. That's what I like to imagine, like his royal protection people and his maids and his butlers and his ushers and his valets and his all these people, and they just went there. They were just empty. He came into this big empty fucking house with its 26 fucking bedrooms. And then he had to make himself some food. He doesn't know how to. He doesn't know how to wipe his own arse. So he sort of stumbles in. He's like, "What the fuck do we do now?" Reaches obviously for the drinks cabinet because there's some solace in that. Tries to find the answer at the bottom of a bottle of gin. Passes out. Wakes up the next morning. He's hungry. No one there. He has to go into his kitchen for the first time in his life. He's never been in the kitchen before. He doesn't know what anything is. He looks at a toaster. He doesn't know what a toaster is. He's never made toast. This is like just some guy just fell to Earth from another fucking planet. He looks at the toaster. He's like, I don't know what this is. He turns it upside down. Bits of toast fall out. He's like, okay, well maybe this is where I put the bread. So he tries to find some bread. Can't find any bread. He's like, what the fuck do we do now? Can't find any bread. So he gets some fucking cereal. He pours the cereal into the toaster because he doesn't know how it works. He doesn't know what he's doing. And he pushes the toaster lever down. Burns the cereal, sets the smoke alarm off. That's why the fire engines turned up. That's what I like to think. Poured milk into the toaster. Going, I don't know how anything works. Tears streaming down his face. A bit hungover from the bottle of gin he's down the night before. I like to think that. Fucking this prince, this twat, this gobshite who treated people like shit. You can always tell. You get a measure of someone's personality by the way they treat the people who are helping them, serving them in a restaurant or getting a drink behind a bar. I always tell people like that. They just see people as transactional. There's no point in trying to, have a bit of banter with them, have a bit of a laugh, have a bit of a chat, see how they are, It's just know you're here to fulfill a function. And the stories that have come out about the guy that his code name was the cunt, and the way he treated his staff was fucking horrific. But I like the idea that they've all fucked off now and he's on his own, wandered around his 27 bedroom fucking building, walking around just not knowing how to dress himself, not knowing how to comb his hair, not knowing how to wipe his own arse. 60. He's 67, isn't he? Was he turned 67? Was that his birthday the other day when he got arrested on his birthday? But yeah, an absence of empathy, says happy enough, yeah. But also just the idea of being that old, being in your 60s and not being able to do anything for yourself because you've always had people to do it. But there you go. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to head over back to the stupid paper here. Iran plots wave of terror if Trump strikes. Don't fucking deny that. That is probably going to happen. Great. And then tariff looks to EU. Britain looks to EU in wake of tariff chaos. Labour will try to build closer ties with Europe this week after Donald Trump unleashed fresh tariff chaos. Yeah. What, you mean that reliable trade partner that didn't fuck us over in the whole 40 fucking years that we were part of their club? That one, yeah? Can we stay in that? Oh no, says Nigel Farage. I don't want to be part of the EU. Why not? Because I've been told by my Russian handlers that it wouldn't be great, for us to stay in the EU. Would be great for Russia, though. Make Russia great again. Yay! Make Moscow great again. Dresden was still a very questionable act. The firebombing of Dresden, are we talking about? Or the rebuilding of Dresden Cathedral. There you go. And I will go back to the main papers here. And we've got the Daily Express, ridiculous story on the front cover here. We've got plot to bring jihadi bride Shamima back to the UK. Messages from best friend reveal her hope to escape Syria using people smugglers. Shamima Begum may be plotting to pay people smugglers to help her return to Britain. Astonishing text messages from inside her detention camp claim. Yes. Okay. She's British. She's British. We should take her back. We should absolutely take her back. And if you want to, you can make a stand trial for her crimes. But she was a kid. She was 15 years old. She was groomed by terrorists. And now she's living in a refugee camp in Syria. It's fucking disgusting. Anyway, Daily Star here. Our little miracle, Mum Grace, she'll live through him. Meet Hugo, the UK's first dead womb donor baby. Oh, that's kind of cool. I met, what was her name? The first British test tube baby. Joy, let me just look this up. Joy first test tube. Louise Joy Brown. Born July 25th, 1978. The world's first baby born via IVF. I met her on a filming of what were we filming? Thingy Osmonds, not Matt Osmonds. He's in Suede, and his brother. You know the guy from Suede, his brother, Richard Osmond. He's got a show called House of Games, and I was on there in the audience as one of the experts to answer a question. It was actually a question on travel, along with Joy Brown, the first test tube baby, and also there was a woman who worked on robots that go to Mars, a robotics expert, and a engineer, a space engineer, and also the guy who played Tinky Winky in the Teletubbies. That was our eclectic crowd of people in the audience, which was quite fun. Anyway, so I'll take us back to the papers now. But yeah, this is big breakthrough, big science breakthrough. It's kind of from something awful, something amazing has happened, something wonderful. So true story. Okay, so head over to the iPaper now. Children with autism risk of losing EHCPs under send reforms. I hope that doesn't happen. I was looking at the send reforms. I've got a good friend who's an educational psychologist, and I'm talking to them this week about this, and hopefully have some more inside information for you. I don't know if they'll want to appear on this channel, but you never know. But yeah, and then we've got Mandelson arrests sparks jeopardy for number 10. We've got over 66 and unable to retire, the new cohort of British workers. Yes, indeed, the people who can't retire because life is too expensive. Meanwhile, people who have retired on a final salary pension of £30,000 a year and also own a house worth over £1 million are getting the state pension on top of that as well, which they don't need because they've paid off the mortgage of the house and they're not having to pay for that. And even when all their bills are paid for, they've still got a good 15 grand to spend on, I don't know what old people spend their money on. Hookers and gin, I guess. Banditry and cocaine, whatever they do. Bostic, they spend a lot of money on sniffing glue, don't they, old people? Not all old people sniff glue. A blast of fury at the sewage scandal. Dirty Business gets 5 stars. This is a new show at the top here above The Guardian, which is supposed to be really good. And in the vein of Mr. Thingy versus the post office. Mandelson arrested on suspicion of misconduct over Epstein links. We've got police come for Mandelson. 4 years of tears. Zelensky warns World War III has already started on the anniversary of Putin's invasion. We take you inside the underground schools where brave pupils go to defy Russia's blitz. I'll come back to the FT in a moment. I'll come to the FT now. Thank you very much. But I will come back to me first because you don't want to see my 14-day trial for God knows what that was for. Bitdefender. Okay, no, I don't want to see that ad first. And then we've got the Financial Times. How reforms council cost drive hit reality. My God, just that's worth a read in itself. I might do a show about that. Just this from the FT. And then we've got modern day strikes against AI. We've got Mandelson arrested on suspicion of misconduct over Epstein connection, which you already know. Zelensky says Ukraine and Russia are the beginning of the end of bitter conflict. Vladimir Zelensky has said that Russia and Ukraine are at the beginning of the end of Europe's biggest conflict since the Second World War, but urged Washington to see through Vladimir Putin's negotiation games. Deluge in Mediterranean threatens food price surge. A wave of heavy rain has battered Mediterranean countries that serve as Europe's winter pantry, threatening price rises for fruit and vegetables. Obviously, the instability of the weather leads to instability of food supplies, which isn't good because we can't live without food. It has rained here pretty much every day for the last 2 months here in the UK. Unbelievable amount of rain that we've had here. Really, really grim that we've had so much bloody rain. And not great. Should we go to the briefing now? So this is the briefing here. Starmer says retaliation an option in US tariff spat. Downing Street has warned that nothing is off the table if the US reneges on 10% tariff deal struck last year and hits Britain with Donald Trump's new 15% levy. Apparently, the levy's come into force today and it's only been 10%. We don't know why it's not 15%. He said it was going to be 15%. Apparently, it's only 10%. I mean, this is what happens when you try and run the world by fucking tweets. What a time to be alive. Talking of weather, by the way, you know that parts of America have been hit by 36 inches of fucking snow. There was a weather bomb that's hit places including New York City, which is just completely under snow at the moment. It looks like the fucking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man has exploded again. Kind of crazy. Deloitte, a leadership race. The accounting firm has started a sweeping overhaul of its global structure. Don't care. Ex-DJ in air engine fraud. This is Jose Antero. Zamora. Oh, God. Zrala, a techno DJ turned aircraft parts bro, go spark global safety alert by selling equipment with forged documentation, has been jailed for 5 years. That is a hell of a pivot, isn't it? You go from DJ to being an engine, a plane parts broker. Kind of crazy, but he's in jail now. And then we've got Kingpin's girlfriend link. Mexico's military intelligence has revealed how a girlfriend of Nemisco El Mencho Oscuera was followed to locate the cartel kingpin who was killed in a shootout in Tapalpa. We've also got banks hauling $300 billion. US lenders generated record earnings last year as they paid out lower interest to savers while making gains on borrowing uptick. Great. Lagarde double standard. The European Central Bank boss, Christine Lagarde, receives around £140,000, €140,000 a year as a bank for International Settlements Board member, despite an ECB ban on such payout to staff. We've got fresh protests in Iran. Demonstrations at universities have entered their third day with clashes between regime backers and their opponents in a rare face-off over the national flag. And then we have Bitcoin breakups. Lawyers have revealed how divorcing spouses have taken to hiding their crypto holdings when a court tries to divide up their assets, making settlements more difficult to achieve. Who would have thought that people who are well into crypto might be a bit dodgy when it comes to declaring their financial interests? Shock! When you're living in Scotland, you're Scottish as far as I'm concerned. Yep, I agree. I agree. If you are living in England, if you're living in Britain, you're British, you're English. If you're living in Wales, you're Welsh. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Just take people in. Take people in. What does it matter? What does it matter? You know, if you meet someone and you say, "Hello, my name's Graham," and then they go, "I'm going to call you Jimmy." You think, why? Why? Because that's what I want to call you. I'm like, well, that's not my name. Yeah, but that's what I want to call you. It's a weird mentality. It's a weird fucking mentality that people have. If someone says I want to be called this, just say okay, I'm going to call you that. That's absolutely it. Anyway, so yeah. Well. We just had something shared by Max. This is from Bridget Phillipson. If a boy wants to wear dresses, children will experiment at different points. Education Secretary Business Phillipson thinks not coming down too hard on kids will reduce their chances of taking a medicalized approach to changing their gender. Oh God! You know, this is all caused by these privately educated elites like Nick Ferrari thinking they've got this gotcha question of like, can a woman have a penis? Yes. For instance, Nick, your mum, she had a penis when you were fucking born. You massive fucking cock. Wish someone would say that to him. It'd be fucking hilarious. But also, like, just it's a level of fucking playgrounds shite, isn't it? That's what they want to take our politics down to. They want to talk about the real issues facing people, the real hardships out there, the fact that 1 in 3 children are experiencing poverty, and the children are going to school hungry. The fact that parents are struggling. They've got 7 fucking jobs between them and they're still struggling to just put food on the fucking table after they pay for their extortionate water bills and electricity bills and the cost of running a car and the cost of running everything. Then we get shouted at for not having kids because we can't fucking afford them. It's fucking grim. Viper Scott's getting off. Chat, you all stay safe and have a good night, night, wherever you are. Cheers, Viper Scott. And Eddie Byrne says, for fuck's sake, why do people think they understand things they don't understand? I don't know. But it's like that idea that, well, if you don't let your kid dress up in a dress when they're a kid, then they'll get medicalized. It's like, what the fuck? What the? I don't know. Oh, it's painful. The Dunning-Kruger PhD is printed on TikToks, yeah. In the fire service, they called me handbag. Lol, loved it. Nick and Diff, if Wales votes for refuck in the Senate, I'll be claiming my English identity back. Can't win. I'd be very surprised if refuck makes any kind of gains. After looking at what happened in Kefili, we have to look at it very carefully. But yeah, I can't see it. I can't see it. Normalized dementia, DJT. Well, we were talking about that last night, weren't we? About his narcissistic personality syndrome of Donald Trump. Malignant. There's a thing called malignant narcissism, but that's a theoretical construct. It was proposed as a diagnosis back in 1970, but it brings in elements of sadism and cruelty, paranoia, and narcissism as well. So it's the real extreme narcissists. But when we talk about narcissistic personality disorder, what we highlighted last night in the show there's 5 subtypes according to DSM, 4TM, and beyond. Theodore Millen suggested 5 subtypes. There was unprincipled narcissist, amorous narcissist, compensatory narcissist, elitist narcissist, and normal narcissist. We decided that Trump displays elements of unprincipled narcissism and also compensatory and also elitist narcissist. But just listen to this, right? Just listen to this list of traits, okay, for what they call an unprincipled narcissist. It's worth repeating this. Deficient conscience, unscrupulous, amoral, disloyal, fraudulent, deceptive, arrogant, exploitative, a con artist and charlatan, dominating, contemptuous, and vindictive. I mean, that's Trump in a nutshell. And the fact that people vote for that and think that this is a good thing is just... It's absolutely fucking mind-blowing. Nasty cyst, more like, says Ernie Burns. Very good. I like that. Also, when we talk about wordplay, can we just point out that the front cover of the Sun today, and I know I don't show the front cover of the Sun, the reason why I get the front cover of the newspapers from the Tomorrow's Papers Today site instead of the BBC site, which also does the front covers of the papers, is because the BBC include the Sun in the list, whereas Tomorrow's Papers Today.co.uk do not do that, and that's why I use that site. But the cover of the Sun today boasts a headline with Mandelson being arrested, and they needed to come up with a pun, right? And the pun they came up with was "Things can only get sweatier," which doesn't work. Which does it just doesn't work. It doesn't work on any fucking level. It's just shite. It's just really, really shite. I don't normally show the front cover of the Sun, but there you go. Things can only get sweatier. That was the cover. That's just so shite. That's just shite. And I can feel Ernie Burns like trying to inhale his teeth here, like what the sweatier? Maybe sweater might work because he's wearing a sweater, I guess. And then that rhymes with better, so it makes sense as a fucking pun. But that's a completely different word. And it's not him that was renowned for sweating. It was, or not sweating, or made a thing about the fact that he couldn't sweat because of an injury he got during the war, old chap. You know. No, just fucking, what even is that? What even? What? I just, yeah, that really annoyed me. Because it's a shit pun, doesn't make any sense, doesn't really refer to him. I mean, maybe if they had an old picture of him with Mandelson with Epstein, and he had like a pullover sweater around his neck or something, you know, like tied around there, or tied around his waist, or whatever, he's wearing a sweater, and you could say things can only get sweater, but sweatier? It's just shite on every level. I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. I know with all the things in the world going on right now, this seems like a really minor thing to get upset about. And it obviously is the Sun paper that we Scousers absolutely fucking hate on every fucking level and would never read or never buy or never even look at if we can help it. But yeah. Sweatier. Things can only get... Not sweater. Sweatier. Like... What? What? Someone help me out on this in the chat, because I... Right. Okay, it's past 10:30 now, so I'm going to... That is absolutely terrible, says Ernie, but yes! I know! I'm glad you agree with me on this. I know I'm a weirdo who gets upset about fonts and about spacing and about kerning and about leading. And, you know, I get very particular about these things. Do you know what I like, though? I like it when I make a fucking thumbnail. And sometimes I don't have time to make the thumbnail in the morning because, you know, I've got to get to a certain point of starting the show. And then I'm going to be fiddling about with the bloody thing for far too long before starting the show. And also having to do the thumbnail. But I do like it when I do a pun in a thumbnail, right? about something that's happened in the news, and then a newspaper uses the exact same joke, the same fuck, and I'm like, I didn't have a bunch of people to like go, hey, let's brainstorm the pun here. It's just me. You know, hurriedly going, shit, I need to put something on. I'm quite made up though. Like last night, I didn't do a thumbnail for. I didn't do a thumbnail yesterday, but sorry, I didn't do a thumbnail this morning. But this particular thumbnail, I am quite proud of this because I didn't know if I could get away with it because they don't like it when you put a swear word on the front cover of your thumbnail. Whereas I think I just about got away with that because I blurred it so much as though he's at an award show for the See You Next Tuesday of the year. I don't know how much that came across, people not knowing what it was saying. I don't know how it worked for you, but yeah, I was quite proud of that. Anyway, the what I'm trying to get to is that basically I should be given a job making up fucking puns. People should pay me for that. Newton lacked creativity, says Bolskov. No, he didn't. Newton didn't lack creativity. It's fucking genius. Although he may have stolen the idea of gravity from old Hookie, Robert Hooke. There is a story that Robert Hooke. I went to a one-man stage show once in Liverpool. I've forgotten where it was. Was it maybe the Everyman? That wasn't the Everyman. It could be the Everyman. Would have been the Unity Theatre, I think. It was a one-man show, and it was called Hanging Hook, and it's all about Robert Hooke, and he was one of the founders of the Royal Society of London. And don't forget, Isaac Newton wasn't one of the founders. He was one of the Johnny-come-latelys. But him and Hooke and Newton did not have the best of relationships, and there is a rumour that it was actually Hooke who's famous for Hooke's law of elasticity. He also made this incredible book called Micrographia, which he looked at insects under a microscope and then drew them, and the drawings are just unbelievably good, like just insanely good for the 1600s. It just incredible eye. But yeah, he may have come up with the theory of gravity, given it to Isaac Newton, and Isaac Newton did the mathematics on it. And Isaac Newton then published it as his own thing, and Hooke said, "Oi, fucker, that was my idea." And he went, "Yep, I'm giving you no credit whatsoever." Hooke was also responsible for creating the monument in London, which was the monument to the victims of the Great Fire of 1666, which he created with his friend Christopher Wren, out of Winnie the Pooh, and while and also the idea with the monument is they got all this money off the government to make this monument to the victims of the Great Fire, right, or from the City of London. And it was actually a telescope. It's got an urn on top, right? So there's a lid, and you take the lid off, and there's a lens. There's a lens in the top of the urn, and the idea was it was this telescope where you could look up, and you could very accurately measure the transit of the stars, like right above your head, because obviously it was a tube with a lens at the top. But it didn't work. It didn't work out how they were going to do it, but it is actually a scientific instrument. It's a secret scientific instrument. Also, Robert Hooke is credited now. There's a plaque there crediting him with designing the dome of St. Paul's Cathedral. So Christopher Wren, obviously known for designing St. Paul's Cathedral, right? But the dome is of such mathematical certitude or whatever. It was actually that was Robert Hooke as well. So anyway, why haven't we heard of Robert Hooke? Why isn't he as famous as Christopher Wren and Edmund Halley and Isaac Newton? Well, there's a rumour that because he died first, that when Isaac Newton was the head of the Royal Society, and they moved their headquarters or something, and there was one portrait of the founders, the founders of the Royal Society. There's portraits of all of them, and the only one that went missing in the move was Robert Hooke's. Well, how coinky dinky. Anyway, so I watched this one-man show called Hanging Hook. It was really good, and it turned out like years and years and years later, it was quite recently, that they found these documents from in the Isle of Wight. I think he lived in the Isle of Wight, and just behind a fucking bookshelf or something. And it was all of his diaries. It was all these things that people didn't know about Robert Hooke, and it was like, oh my god, like he invented all this mad shit. Like it was him all along, which was quite cool. Quite cool. I once saw a one-man show, the hit musical version of Victor Hugo's epic tale Les Miserables. The sings and had less pop, and the Val, Jean, and Jalbert scene were a bit flat. But you know, impressive. But weird to share with your pupils, Plum. What? My French teacher was called Mrs. Newton and could swallow a boiled egg whole. Bad kerning bugs me, but I'm more likely to take the mickey than get annoyed with it. L Butterfly says, if on at 11, you can set to Reagan Elite raid again. I'm probably not going to stay on till 11, but I can do that. Let me just reopen that window that I just give Reagan Elite a little bit of a boost. You all need a boost here on this in this internet world of the internet. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Redirect. There's videos from other channels. Ooh, Marcus is coming up as well. ICC All Shorts is live. Oh, brilliant. That's cool. Upcoming. Good morning, Vegan Elite. Is it the 24th? Okay, I'm going to go for that one. I hope it's that one. Brilliant. Okay. I've got a question. I have a question, right, for the chat. Like, you know the way other streamers like put all of their streams for like the week up, like to say it's going to start at this time. Should I do that on this channel? Would that be annoying? Because I'm guessing that every time you go on YouTube, you just get loads of me popping up, and I don't know what's going to be happening from one day to the next. So that's why I usually leave it till the last minute to do the actual blurb and the thumbnail. If I do a thumbnail, I usually leave it till the last minute. Just let me know in the chat. Got a couple more minutes before I go. I am the genuine Indian guru who's teaching you a better way. I want to be on the cover of Rolling Stone. Okay, cool. She came from Birmingham with a so French with a Brummie accent. She came from Greece with a thirst for knowledge. We are still alive, so we win, says Plum. That's absolutely true. The best revenge is a life well lived. The best revenge is laughter. You know, sitting around having a laugh, just proving you're not as miserable as they are. Because they can never stop being miserable, you know. That's the thing with the right. That's the thing with all these fascists, all these fucking, you know, these neo-Nazi gobshites, all these billionaires and oil barons, fucking merchants of death. You know, all these people with their little tendrils in the military-industrial complex. You know, they can never be happy. They're just not cheerful people. They just can't have a laugh. They just can't sit back and just have some fucking fun. And when they see other people having fun, having a bit of a laugh and having a bit of joke, that's why they got rid of Mock the Week off the BBC. It's why they got rid of the MASH report. That's why they want to get rid of Have I Got News For You. They can't bear to see some people having a laugh at what's going on. They want us all in the depths of fucking despair. Well, I say fuck that. I say fuck that. You know, despite we're gonna have a good life, despite these motherfuckers. I mean, they fucking throw shite at us. You know, how much would it fucking boil your piss, right? If you were trying to like, you know, you were trying to siege a fucking a citadel or a castle. You know, you were putting it under siege and you were camping out outside the moat and freezing fucking cold and everyone's fucking miserable and all you can hear from inside the castle is everyone having a fucking big gay disco. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's just fucking dancing and having a fucking great time. You know, drinking and laughing and smoking and just having a good time, you know. How much would that boil the piss of the people sitting in the fucking tents outside in the freezing cold? Just hearing that noise, the laughter. That's the way you want to do it. Drive them up the fucking wall. Psychological fucking warfare. Just keep laughing. Just keep laughing at them. I get thumbnails of Graham and old ladies in swimwear looking for love. Generally, YouTube gives a 30-minute warning on pre-scheduled streams, but I think that would be the only effect. Okay, cool. Also, you don't know what the news is going to do from day to day. Yeah, but I know I'm going to do a show, and I can put I've got I've got what goes on it. You know, the text under the description that goes on every show. I've got my default thumbnails that I can just put up. So, yeah, maybe. So Richard Owen is arguably just as important to evolution as Charlie D. Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin was never knighted, was he? Interesting, that, isn't it? Also, Ollie, Ebola Hatman, Ollie does that. What puts up all of the streams for the week? It's a thought. Den Cat says no, it would be annoying. And Martin Harrow says no, just the daily prompts, please. Okay, I'll leave it the daily prompts. I try and get them up as soon as I can, you know. But yeah, it's not always easy. Right, so I'm going to leave you now. We're going to be doing a special edition of the of Geoscope tonight, me and Ollie, where we're going to be looking back over the last 4 years of the war in Ukraine. It probably will be a bit heavy, so if you want to give that a swerve, that's completely fine with me. If you stay on this channel for the next 13 minutes, you will automatically be redirected to Reagan Elite's channel, who's going on at 11 o'clock. So please say hi to Reagan for me. And yeah, until next time, I'm going to say thank you so much for watching the show this morning. And thanks for the super chats. Really appreciate it. I'm going to be doing the show tomorrow. I'm going to be doing Prime Minister's questions tomorrow. But there will be no rabbit hole tomorrow because I'm afraid I'm going to be traveling. I'm going off to Liverpool. That's the plan anyway. Tomorrow. So it's just that thing. Like, I could do the rabbit hole, but then I wouldn't get to Liverpool till like 11 o'clock at night. And it's a bit... so we might defer the rabbit hole and put it on another night this week, but I'll let you know. But I'll definitely be back at 7:30 tonight with Ollie Bowler Hatman to talk about the news around the world. And until then, thanks very much for watching. Thanks for the super chat. Give a like on the way out. Don't forget to give a like on the way out and say hello to Reagan Elite from us. And until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and